Should I 27m tell my ex's 26f current partner that we slept together?
So I 27m linked up with my ex 26f about 1.5 years ago. We met for drinks, stayed in a hotel and had sex a couple of times that night and once the next morning. Then she ghosted me. We hadn't spoken in about 3 years before this, so that didn't bother me. There was no emotional connection at all, to be fair. Anyway, fast forward to today and I see on Facebook she's gotten engaged. At first I was happy for her, but then it clicked. He proposed to her on their 3rd anniversary. So they were together when she and I met up. Now after doing some digging I see they've also had a child together about 2 months ago. I know there's always the possibility they had a shirt break and she hasn't actually cheated on him, but when we were talking over drinks that night she had said she hadn't been seeing anyone since we broke up, other than casually. Part of me feels like I should tell him because he deserves to know, but when I asked a friend for advice he told me I should keep quiet. So is my friend right, or is telling him the right thing to do?
Okay, this depends on, do you have any proof of what you will be telling him? It's been 3 years, it's hard to believe some random person coming out of the blue telling them that their significant other cheated with no proof of them being together. Remove your ex from Facebook and move on with your life. You yourself stated you can't prove they weren't on a break or broken up. I can't tell you how many relatives I have that post their 10-year anniversary. And don't mention the constant breakups, fights, breaks that happened. For all you know they temporarily weren't together. She slept with you, and then they got back together. I'd mind my business. Seems a bit weird to get in the middle of that a year and a half later. Just let it go. She's your ex, and what she does or doesn't do anymore at this point isn't something you should involve yourself with. My 38 female husband, 38 male, has money for golf but never romance or me. I never thought I would make excuses for a man like this, but I'm newly postpartum and don't want to see the writing on the wall. Last year my husband skipped celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary after I told him it was really important to me. No gift, no celebration, nothing. Don't even remember what we did that day. His reasoning was that we didn't have enough money to do anything nice. He had the same reason for not getting birthday gifts, push presents, anything. He even complains about grocery store makeup or budget tier clothes for myself and the kids. I'm not materialistic, so I try not to let it bother me, but it's not like he communicates that he appreciates me in other ways, either. Now he wants to join an expensive country club and tells me the thousands of dollars initiation fee isn't a concern because he's been secretly saving for it. We are normally pretty frugal, so this is outrageous for us to begin with, but potentially possible. He says it's for the family, and sure, the kids might use it, but it's mainly so he can golf and pretend to be successful on weekends. This is absolutely grounds for divorce, right? I feel like there's no way to even point it out to him because he will absolutely retroactively get me whatever gifts I want once he sees it as a barrier to club entry, but I am not sure there's any reason for that anymore. I feel like he's telling me very clearly what our marriage is worth to him, and it's not much. It sucks when I just had our 3rd baby. On top of not feeling very confident, I'm not interested in throwing our kids' lives into chaos. Thanks for any perspective on this. If it were me, I'd ask him if he'd be able to afford the fee, child support and alimony too, since he had been lying for years. He's been secretly saving for it. So he was secretly saving money while telling you there wasn't any for what you wanted? That's called lying. He may not have been cheating in you, but this is not that insignificant either. It's a fairly big deception over an extended period of time. What he should have done is told you up front that he wanted to save for this membership, and then the two of you jointly decide if that was going to happen. It sounds like he has already pushed you out as an equal partner. The only thing left is to finalize his decision. Normally I say couples counseling, particularly with kids. But he has been lying to you for years about your finances. Not seeing how you are ever going to trust him about anything. Team divorce. Talk to an attorney who specializes in forensic accounting. Yeah, this is definitely grounds for divorce. I'm sorry you had to deal with this for so long. I, 35M. Now have a lot of contempt towards my wife, 33F. So we have been married for over 7 years now. We talked about kids and I wanted 1 child whereas she wanted 3. We came to an agreement that we could have 2. We talked about timing and everything. We talked about our first child. Decided together to try for our first child. Well, successfully we had our first baby, a girl, awesome. From there we decided to wait until she was a bit older to have another. After 3 years we decided together to have another. Wouldn't you know it, we had our next one, another girl. So now we had the family we wanted. Or so I thought. 3 months into the baby number 2 she decided it time to force another baby on me. We wasn't using protection, however the pull-out method is pretty effective. Unfortunately when she's on top and you let her know it's time to get off and she says no and holds herself down so you have to finish inside. I was furious. I told her this is not what we agreed on. My vasectomy was scheduled for like the next month. You guessed it, she was pregnant. So here we are with our 3rd child. Unfortunately I just can't get past the deceitful action she took. We never decided together to have another. I hold no ill intent for the baby. Healthy boy BTW. It just pisses me off that she would deceive me like this. Now I just can't seem to get past this. 2 points to be made here. 1. Your wife assaulted you. 2. You're a clown if you think the pull-out method is an effective form of birth control. ETA. Thank you for the award loudly crying red heart. However the pull-out method is pretty effective. This is a form of sexual assault. You agreed to sex, not to ejaculating inside of her. Here's a BBC article about a similar situation. Your wife assaulted you. You should feel contempt towards her. You have every right to end the marriage over this. If you want to continue you will need some type of couples therapy or counseling. Do not stay in the relationship for the kids. The kids would be better in a situation with separated parents, than with parents who hurt each other like that. Only stay if it's what you really want. Take time to decide, you don't need to decide today. Process, reflect. I stopped reading after pull-out being effective, Jesus Christ dude. The pull-out method is not effective. I, 26 male, broke up with my 26 female girlfriend because of the way she was acting. Do I need to fix this? I need some advice because I don't really know what to do, if I'm being the asshole. We've been together for 6 years and the first 4 or 5 years were great. Over the last year or so she's become bitter for lack of a better word. It's gradually got worse, but the general vibe is that she doesn't want to be together anymore. She gives me dirty looks, she sleeps in another room, she won't let me touch her even for a hug, she tells me to shut up when I speak, she declines any dates or activities together but always goes out with friends, the list goes on. I've tried so hard to make things better. I've sat her down 3 times and explained that I'm not happy with the way things are, and each time I've done this things have improved for a week or 2 and she's promised to be better and it's back to our normal relationship for a short while before going back to not being good. A few weeks ago I snapped. She threw me one of her dirty looks and I couldn't take it anymore and I said I'm done. I said I've tried to make this better and it's clearly not worked so we're over and I want you to move out. She cried and said nothing and left to stay at her parents' house. Around a week later she messaged and asked if we could talk so I agreed. We met in a neutral location and she said she's unhappy at work. Her contraceptive pill is changing her moods, she needs help and she doesn't want to lose me. Of course I agreed to help her through this and said I want to make it work and I'd do anything to help. We agreed that she would stay with her parents and we'd take it very slow. A few days later she started messaging me things like her family are really angry at me. I need to make this up to her by buying her flowers. I need to take her on dates. Her dad wants to have a chat with me. Her brother doesn't want her to get back together with me. Generally messaging me things that imply I have a lot of making up to do and that her family and friends hate me and that I'm the one that's fucked up. I have no idea what she has told them has happened between us. I feel like this has made me resent her even more. I feel like the entire reason our relationship ended was because of the way she was acting around me. It's honestly made me not want to make things right with her even more and just give up on the relationship. Am I an asshole for being annoyed at this? Should I be the one that's making this all better? If everything she says is correct then it would be best for her to stay single and figure her shit out. I will let you in on a secret. You have no obligation to be in a relationship with anyone if you don't want to. It is that simple. Especially when there are no kids involved. If you don't want to be with her, you don't have to be and you don't have to have a justification. There is no universal limit of terrible behavior from a partner that has to be met in order to break up. You set your own limits. Even if she is depressed or you have done things wrong etc., it still does not obligate you to be in the relationship if you don't want to. So she was being emotionally abusive. You ended the relationship, and then she manipulated you into taking her back, and now wants you to atone for refusing to accept her emotional abuse? Absolutely not. End it for good. Block her everywhere. She's abusive and manipulative. What she said about how she's treating you may very well be true, but her actions towards you are not okay, and the fact that she's now gaslighting you and saying it's your problem to fix negates any responsibility on her part to fix her own behavior. If you stay with her or stay in her life, this isn't going to get any better. Cut ties and stay away from her. She trashed you to her whole family and wants presents for it. And she expects you to respond to her father's summons to be berated for giving his little princess consequences to her actions? Run from this entire toxic family. The whole lot of them will never let you move past this. What you are going through now is your entire future with this petulant woman child and her obnoxious relatives.